It always begins in ways that feel almost too small to matter. A single decision, a tiny shift. Waking up 10 minutes earlier, choosing water over soda, reading 2 pages instead of scrolling 200 posts. In the moment, these actions feel insignificant, almost invisible. They don't create applause. They don't produce instant transformation. No one looks at you differently tomorrow morning because you made one better choice today. And yet, hidden inside these small, repeated behaviors is one of the most powerful forces on earth. Because the truth most people overlook is simple but life-altering. Big results are rarely the product of big actions. They are the outcome of small habits performed consistently over time. Think of habits as compound interest for your life. Just as money multiplies when invested wisely, actions multiply when repeated daily. The first day you exercise, nothing changes. The first week you save money, your account still looks modest. The first month you practice a skill, you still feel average. This is the dangerous phase where most people quit, not because habits don't work, but because they haven't worked yet. We live in a world addicted to immediate results, so slow progress feels like failure. But habits operate on a delayed reward system. They build beneath the surface, quietly accumulating power until one day the results appear so suddenly that people call it overnight success. The fascinating part is that habits shape identity before they shape outcomes. When you write daily, you don't just produce pages, you become a writer. When you train regularly, you don't just build muscle, you become disciplined. Every small habit casts a vote for the type of person you are becoming. This identity shift is where real transformation happens. Results are temporary motivators, but identity is a permanent driver. Once someone sees themselves differently, their behavior aligns automatically. A person who identifies as healthy makes different food choices than someone trying to lose weight. The habit is small, but the identity it builds is massive. Another overlooked truth is that small habits reduce resistance. Big goals feel intimidating because they demand radical change. I'll work out 2 hours daily. I'll save half my income. I'll write a book this month. These declarations sound inspiring but collapse under their own weight. Small habits, on the other hand, feel approachable. 10 push-ups, saving a small amount, writing 1 paragraph. Because the barrier to entry is low, consistency becomes achievable. And consistency, not intensity, is what creates transformation. It's better to walk daily than sprint once a week. Over time, these small habits begin to stack. This is where momentum enters the equation. One good habit naturally triggers another. Waking early leads to planning your day. Planning leads to focused work. Focused work leads to achievement. Achievement builds confidence. Confidence fuels bigger action. What began as a small shift becomes a cascade of positive behaviors. Psychologists call this the habit loop, but in practical life, it feels like life finally moving in your favor. The key is that momentum always starts small. No avalanche begins at full force. It starts with a single moving stone. Small habits also rewire the brain. Neuroscience shows that repeated actions strengthen neural pathways. The more you perform a behavior, the more automatic it becomes. This is why bad habits feel effortless and good habits feel difficult, initially. But repetition flips the equation. Eventually, discipline requires less energy because the brain recognizes the pattern as normal. You no longer debate whether to do the habit, you simply do it. This automation is powerful because it removes the need for constant motivation. You act not because you feel inspired, but because it's who you are. There's also a psychological advantage to small wins. Every completed habit releases dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. These micro-rewards reinforce behavior, making you more likely to repeat the action. It's why checking off a to-do list feels satisfying. Small habits create frequent victories, and frequent victories build belief. And belief is critical because people rarely achieve what they don't believe is possible. The habit may be tiny, but the confidence it builds can reshape ambition itself. Financial success offers one of the clearest real-world examples. Wealth rarely comes from one giant paycheck. It grows from consistent saving, investing, and disciplined spending. A person who saves modestly but consistently often outpaces someone who earns more but lacks habits. The same applies to business, health, learning, and relationships. Small daily improvements, better service, healthier meals, kinder words, compound into extraordinary long-term results. The scale of the habit doesn't determine impact. The consistency does. Of course, the reverse is equally true. Small negative habits create big problems. Skipping workouts occasionally becomes chronic inactivity. Small overspending becomes debt. Delaying tasks becomes missed opportunities. Because the changes are gradual, they go unnoticed until consequences arrive. This is why habits are never neutral. They are either compounding for you or against you. The direction may feel invisible today, but time magnifies everything. Patience, therefore, becomes the secret ingredient. The challenge with small habits is not execution, it's endurance. People abandon habits because results lag behind effort. But those who persist long enough cross what experts call the plateau of latent potential, the phase where progress suddenly accelerates. It's the moment when years of unseen effort crystallize into visible success. Observers see the result, not the repetition behind it. Environment also plays a crucial role in habit formation. Small changes in surroundings can make good habits easier and bad habits harder. Keeping books visible encourages reading. Preparing gym clothes in advance increases workout likelihood. Removing distractions improves focus. The habit itself may be small, but designing an environment that supports it multiplies success probability. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Perhaps the most empowering realization is that small habits restore a sense of control. Big goals can feel overwhelming, especially when life feels uncertain. But anyone can improve 1% daily. Anyone can take one better action today. Small habits shrink the gap between intention and execution. They turn self-improvement from a dramatic event into a daily ritual. And rituals, once formed, carry you forward even on difficult days. History quietly validates this principle. Great athletes, thinkers, and leaders rarely attribute success to single defining moments. Instead, they point to routines, morning practices, study hours, disciplined schedules. Excellence, in most cases, is not an act, it's a habit. The world celebrates big results, but those results are built on foundations of small, often boring repetitions. And that may be the most important lesson of all. Small habits are not glamorous. They don't feel heroic. They require showing up when motivation is absent. They demand patience when results are invisible. But they are reliable. They are sustainable. And they are transformative. Because when repeated long enough, small habits stop being small. They become lifestyle. They become identity. They become destiny. So if you're waiting for the perfect moment to change your life, stop waiting. Don't start with something dramatic. Start with something doable. Read one page. Save one note. Walk 1 mile. Learn one idea. Improve one interaction. Then repeat it tomorrow. And the day after. And the day after that. Because the future you're chasing is not built in giant leaps. It's built in daily steps. Small habits, performed consistently, don't just change your results. They change who you become. And when you change who you become, big results stop being accidental. They become inevitable. If this message resonated with you, don't let it end as inspiration alone. Choose one small habit today, just one, and commit to it for the next 30 days. Track it, protect it, repeat it, because the life you want isn't waiting on motivation or luck. It's waiting on consistency. Start small, stay steady, and watch how quietly but powerfully your life begins to transform.